Welcome, I'm Padmalochan Das and we're here at the amazing New Govardhan, Australia. It's a beautiful day today, as you can see in the background. I'm here with the amazing Ganga prabhu from Mayapur, and today we'll be talking about some of the transcendental pastimes of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Ganga prabhu has been fortunate enough to have a lot of association with His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, and today we'll be talking about some of these pastimes which he's had with him. So welcome, Ganga Prabhu.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be with you today in this beautiful paradisiac place. It's a holy place. There were a beautiful deity of Lord Krishna and Balaram, and beautiful Gaurnitai, beautiful Radha, Govardhan Dari. And this is 1,000-acre farm. It's a beautiful place next to the beach, next to the mountain, wonderful devotee, cows, bulls, lake, Govardhana hill down, farming. There's lots of prasadam. No one can finish prasadam in this place. The fridge always full.
Always.
So I feel completely blessed to be in this environment, even though we have been locked down here for almost 1 month.
Yeah.
But what a nice prison house.
Yeah.
I'll sign for this.
Yeah, it's like the spiritual world here at New Govardhan, so we're all very fortunate to be here.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get started. If you could just tell me when you first came into contact and when you first met His Holiness Jayapataka Swami.
That was in 1979. I got picked up from the devotee from, actually the Sankirtan party from Mayapur, where they were visiting Kathmandu, because at the time they had 2 vans which they had to go out every 6 months. So then they picked me up. I was traveling in India, searching for the truth, experiencing with yoga, experiencing with austerity and different things. So finally the Lord answered my desire, that was to know more about Lord Krishna and Supreme Absolute Truth. So in 79 I came in December to Calcutta, and that's the first place I saw His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj Swami, my spiritual master, and he was a very big stature person with the blue eyes, inspiring confidence, and immediately he spoke to me in Spanish and Italian, welcoming me to the temple, and he was very happy, always and joyous. That's the first time I saw him.
Very nice, thank you. I mean, you moved to Mayapur in the early 80s. Can you tell us a bit about the pastimes that illustrate His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's involvement in making Mayapur project a success?
Well, you know, he was very instrumental, because Srila Prabhupada told him, I'm giving you the spiritual world, now you develop it. So as everybody knows, Mayapur is the very holy place where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago. So at that time when I went to Mayapur in 79, there was nothing. There was rice field, and there was only a temple under the Lotus building, and there was the long building which was almost finished, the main gate, and the Bhajan Kutir of Srila Prabhupada. So His Holiness Jayapataka Swami was very instrumental in developing the whole Mayapur project. He was a visionary person. He will tell, here will come this, here will come there. And at the same time he was farming with the bulls and teaching the farmer many things. He spoke fluent Bengali, a very attractive personality.
So he was very hands-on there in Mayapur?
Very hands-on, and then of course in preaching, it was his speciality, because he spoke the language. Anybody come in contact with him, he would tell him about the pastime of Lord Chaitanya and the way we could dedicate ourselves to the service of the Lord.
Amazing. And he learned that language while he was over there in the early days?
He learned very fast. He's a linguistic, I would say. He speaks many languages. I think he speaks more than 7 languages. And he has very great memory. He remembered the name of all the people, even though he knows thousands of people. When he met people, he remembered their name.
Yeah.
Amazing personality.
Amazing. Very
inspiring, and tall figure, very handsome, and sometimes we used to do wrestling with other devotees.
Wow, nice.
The Ganges. And so he was a very jovial, happy person, happy to be in Krishna conscious, happy to be with the devotees, always ready to serve, always ready to serve.
Very nice.
Inspiring people.
Thank you. I mean, you've done some traveling with His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Would you
Yes.
like to tell us a bit about those pastimes, traveling?
Yeah, well, he was instrumental in establishing the Namata preaching, which was
I've
one
heard
of the
about that.
desire of the Acharya Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is that, and of course the prediction of Lord Chaitanya, in every town and village my holy name will be heard. Pritivite Ache Jatoratanadi Gram. So he was instrumental in traveling in different villages of Bengal and setting up a Namata center, Namata preaching center. Namata means that the villagers, they will do whatever they do, farming, this, that, but every day they'll come together in the evening and they'll do arti, or they'll pray, or they'll do Harinam Sankirtan. So I was traveling with him in many, many villages throughout Bengal and Bihar, Bangladesh, many places. And amazingly, as you know, India is a very populated place. And when Srila Prabhupada said the white elephant goes, then everybody's attracted to them. So of course I'm not white anymore. I become dark in the course of time of being 40 years in India. But he was white and very built, big person and with the blue eyes and speaking the language. So people were like, wow, who is this?
Yeah, amazing.
Every night we had a panda program and drama and prasad distribution. So it was really a static program every place.
Yeah, nice. Could you please tell us a bit about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's dealings with the locals in
Yeah.
Bengal in the 80s?
Well, the thing is that because he knew the language, he understood beyond every language there is always the culture. So he understood the culture of Bengali people, the culture which is very ancient, the culture of the people who live in that place in a very simple way, yet profound way. So he was always teaching them, how to improve their farming, how to do different type of sensible thing to do with the earth, with the cows, with the bulls, and the distribution of water, and many, many things. So he was very always inspiring to the local people. The local people loved Jayapataka Maharaj.
Yeah, what do you think it was? What was the main thing which made him so attractive to the locals over there? Because as you see, he's so attractive over
the
there.
local Bengali language, number one. Number two is that his personality is that love and care.
Yeah.
So it's very personal with people. It doesn't matter whether you are a farmer, a rickshawala, or Mr. Birla or Rockefeller. His relationship with you is very tangible and very sensitive. You feel like a person who wants to help me, who is really interested and very personal, and look into my life and helping me out.
Thank you.
So that was it for me.
So what about some of the challenges that His Holiness Jayapataka Swami faced in Mayapur in the early days with the duckweeds, etc.?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of challenges with these dacoits, because in the early age, we were very isolated in this village, that there was nothing around us, it was only plain field. And so, unscrupulous people and unscrupulous astrologer told that there is a great wealth in this place, but the only wealth is the mercy of the Lord.
Definitely.
So they misunderstood. And sometimes the dacoit came and they attacked us a few times. So that was the unfortunate things. But apart from that, we moved on. We are being always protected. And also due to this similar attack, repeated attack, we were requested to install Nishingadev, who is the protector of the devotees, the protector of Prahlad Maharaj. So from South India, from Chennai, I happened to be there, and the Stapadi carved this beautiful deity on Nishingadev with Prahlad Maharaj, and then it was established, and after that there was no more attack.
Yeah, amazing. I believe there was a small group of disciples in the early 80s. Could you please tell me about some of those nice memories from those early days?
Well, because we were very few in Mayapur at the time, there were only around 30, 40 people, so we have a strong camarade, it's like we were all we were all monks, brahmachari, and there were few grihastha, 2 or 3 with the family and kids, and everybody else was like, it was like going back to the army, where you have very strict discipline, but very sweet mix of Westerner and Bengali, Indian devotee, very dedicated people, very amazing, far out devotees were completely, dedicated to the service of the Lord. There was Narottam, there was Mukunda, there was Arjuna, and many other devotees who are still serving today in different temples
Beautiful.
of the world, and they're fully dedicated for the pleasure of the Lord. So it was a very strong sense of being together, helping each other to advance in Krishna consciousness, and learning so much from being with the brahmachari, with the monks. Live a very austere, simple life. We sleep on the floor with a mat, and if you were fortunate, you had a mosquito net also. Otherwise, all night a mosquito.
Oh, that'll be hellish.
But it was a nice time. That's the time you are like a sponge. You absorb everything.
Yeah, beautiful.
You learn the mantra for tilak. You learn how to go and take bath in the Ganges every day. Very respectful. So we learn the consciousness of how, by using our body, by using our mind, we can please the Lord. That's the most beautiful, wonderful experience.
Amazing. Okay, so 2004 was a completely ecstatic year for Mayapur, the installation of the Panchatattva. Could you please tell us a bit about that and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's involvement in that process?
Well, I was very blessed to be part of the team who actually, make the Lord appear in South India, and so His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj sent us traveling all over India. Me and Sadhbuj, who is actually from Australia, from this place, his wife live here in Mumbai. We were traveling all over India. We went to Varanasi, we went to different places to find out who can make such a big deity, because the deity is like 11 feet high. And so many people say, no, I cannot do it, it's too big, and it's too difficult. I never made such a thing. So people were very honest. So, but finally we went to this Swami Malai, which is in South India, in Tamil Nadu, and we found this Stapati who used to make deity as big as 6 foot. He said, look, we're showing the photograph, the measurement. He said, but look, I'm not making statues. I'm making deities of Krishna. I'm making deity of Balaji. I'm making a deity of the Lord. So you should go and find somebody who makes statues. He said, no, this is not a statue. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna, and Nityananda is not different from Balaram. But he was not convinced, and we didn't speak the language because he said, what, to speak Tamil, and we're foreigners. So eventually we called one other devotee. His name is Atmatattva Prabhu, who is a Srila Prabhupada disciple, who was living in a Gurukul in Mayapur at the time with his wife. And so we called him and said, please come and speak and convince the Stapati, about the supreme truth that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago. It's not different from Krishna. So he came with the Srimad Bhagavatam and he spoke the language. As a very outspoken person. He's a Pandit. So, he can quote slogan from Ramayana, from Mahabharata. And he sat with him every day for a few hours. So after 5 days, the Stapati said, I am convinced I will make this work. And so then, unfortunately, the Stapati passed away, but he told his 3 sons that please do this work for these Hare Krishna people. They're very nice, very sincere, do nice work. And so then they made a different sample, different mixture of metals, because the deity is made of metal. It's called Astaloa. It's 8 different metal, including gold, silver, mercury, brass, copper, bronze, steel. So then, according to the different mixture, the different color will come. So we bought back, different ingot of different color, and His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj with Bhatticharu Maharaj, they decide which color. In fact, when you go and see and take darshan today, you can see Lord Chaitanya is more golden, Lord Nityananda is more whitish, and Gadadhar is different color, like that, So, and time to time, whenever we did the casting of each deity, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj came with the name of people who donate silver and gold. Because in each deity there is 8 kilo gold, 13 kilo silver, plus all the other material. So we went around India and collecting from the devotee, please donate some gold for making the deity. And everybody removed their rings, their chain, their belt, it's like, wow. So he was, every time we did a casting, he was, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj came and blessed the occasion. Of course, the start, we think as a Westerner that when they make the deity, we think, oh, this is a workshop, we think late machine, nothing like that. They had just a field like here, and they had some cows, and they had a shed, and we thought, how are you going to make the deity? He said, don't worry, you're going to find out.
Wow.
And so, and they start in the morning at 4 o'clock with the jagya, with the Brahmins, to create auspiciousness with the cows, and they feed the cows. And then only they start this work, so it was really an amazing work to be part of the team who make the Lord manifest in these 5 beautiful forms. And the Sapati told me, did you have a son? I said, yes, I have 2 sons. He said, now you're going to have another 5 sons. I said, what do you mean? You're going through a lot of anxiety because there will be so many things happening. And it's true, but by the mercy of the Lord, we were able to do it. We transport the deity, installed it in Mayapur in 2004. So there's a great blessing of the previous Acharya, the great blessing of Srila Prabhupada, the great blessing of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami.
Amazing
I made
pastime.
the long story short because
amazing
it can
pastime.
be an interview of 2 hours by itself.
Okay, so Prahlad Narasimha Prabhu had a dream once about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. And in that dream it was him wanting some protection through a lion claw of Nrsingadev, and you somehow had that lion claw. Can you please tell us a bit about that?
Well, at that time I happened to be in Italy, and Prahlad Narasimha called me and said, tell me about this dream, and that our Gurudev, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj Swami wanted to have this lion claw. And then I remember seeing my father one time showing me this lion claw that some of his friends gave to him from Africa or from somewhere. So I went very respectful to my father and asked him, would you please give this special thing you have to my spiritual master for his protection? He said, I'll be glad.
Wow, amazing.
To do this for you and for your spiritual master. Please take it. He gave me in a box and he gave it to me. So when we went back to India, it was already with the silver, and it was already with the locket, so you can just wear his chain. And of course His Holiness was very happy about this. So great service done to the pure devotees brings always unlimited benefit for the whole family. Needless to say.
Amazing. In 1980, Jayapataka Swami was attacked in Spain. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, in 1980 he was attacked in Spain. I happened to be in I'm not sure if it was 1980, maybe it was 1984 or 85, but I'm not sure about it. I don't remember, I'm sorry, I'm getting old. But I happened to be in Chennai at the time with His Holiness Banu Swami, and in fact I wanted to go immediately because I was thinking that this thing happened, and my uncle has a very big villa in Rome, so I thought we can take Guru Maharaj there, but His Holiness Banu Maharaj told me, no, don't go because there's so many people there, so they're taking care, you don't have to go. I said, okay, whatever. So I didn't go.
Okay.
But we were praying, of course, for him.
How did you hear about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's stroke in Mumbai?
Yeah.
Where were you when you received the news?
Well, I was
and
very
how did you
sad
feel?
Because there were many events which most probably caused this, There's not one single item, one single thing, is that, sometimes the devotee, because His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj is very friendly to everybody, so in some time they told him, oh, you cannot travel to this country, you cannot travel to that country. And sometimes he was kind of frustrated because his motivation was not to go and take any material or spiritual benefit from anywhere, but rather help the devotee, because wherever he goes he doesn't think, oh, this is my disciple, this is not my disciple, I don't care. No, he's like open heart for everybody. Everybody is a devotee of the Lord. He has the spirit of a giant family all over the world,
where everybody's connected. We are all connected. So he doesn't think, oh, he's my disciple, not my disciple. He like preaches to everybody, helps everybody. So unfortunately, some leader thought that, oh, it's not good, he comes here, well, for whatever reason, which we don't understand, because, this says that dogs and sannyasi don't need invitation. We can travel anywhere in the world and preach, and people should be feeling glad that His Holiness come here and preach. But one time he personally told me, Ganga, I am an independent Brahman, I can travel anywhere, no one can stop us. So, he had this, he was very sorry to hear from his own god brother or some other devotee that he was not allowed to travel to some different place for preaching purpose, because he was one of the most travel around the world, he had like, I don't know how many thousands of miles, he was also in the British Airways. They published, one article in their magazine said it is the person who traveled the most around the world in a plane. He continues with travel and preach everywhere. The motivation was always preaching, was not traveling, because I traveled with him for many years. Say, okay, you think it's fun jumping on a plane, 3 hours here, 5 hours there, and then you go down, and then you have whatever, people think it's fun, but it's not fun. So the idea is how to please Srila Prabhupada, how to please the Acharya, because that was his motivation.
Yeah.
So that was very sorrow state, which, I don't know, we can say that some portion of this cause of the stroke could be that.
Okay, thank you. So you've been a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami for some time now, many, many years.
Yeah.
What inspires you most about Maharaj?
He is so dedicated to serve Srila Prabhupada that, it's very, very inspiring to see that even though he's in his present condition, his health-wise is not very good. He needs to be assisted by a few devotees and constantly checking the body, this, that. But he's actually showing by example that we are not this body. We are beyond. Because his motivation remained the same, and his inspiration remained the same, and his mood is always of service. He's always a helping other. He's always like, I'm indebted to Srila Prabhupada. As long as I have air life in my body, I will serve Srila Prabhupada in association with the Vaishnava. And that's his mood, and that's what is inspiring millions of people around the world.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
Totally amazing.
And he's always joking also.
Yeah.
Even though he's on a wheelchair, he's like, Ganga, come here, this, that. He played jokes like nothing happened. It's like he was before. He's always happy, always jovial, always playful. Amazing personality. That's very inspiring.
How has Jayapataka Swami helped you in your spiritual life?
Well, he's because I learned directly from him. I'm one of the many fortunate disciples who traveled with him for many years. I was his bodyguard and secretary after the first attack in Spain, and so we travel around the world. See, the spiritual master teaches us to imbibe the mood of devotion. It's not that we are made by the spiritual master. It's like whatever we have, it's like, let me give you an example. Like in India sometimes there's a train coming and there is a man with a lever on the floor. Before the train comes, switch. So the train, instead of going north, it goes east, for example. So he's a person who can, whatever we have, or whatever ability we have, you give that switch, okay, now you go toward Krishna, and then you are able to accomplish your life, because whatever we have, we can engage in Krishna service. So he helped me in so many different ways. When I got married, for example, he told me, you marry this girl because she can help you in devotional service. I said, what about this one? What about that one? I said, you want to spend 10 years preaching to your wife about chanting Hare Krishna? I said, no. Then marry this one. She can teach you something.
Yeah.
So he was very instrumental in my life, in all the different stages of life, when I was brahmachari, when I was traveling with him. He taught me so many things, practical things, that I'm eternally indebted to him. And so we learned the mood of service attitude and the family of the greater family of ISKCON, and always to be ready to serve the Vaishnavas. Because this is the great wealth we have in our hand. We can do it today. We can serve the Vaishnava. As long as we have life in our body, we can serve. And by serving the Vaishnava, we can please the Lord. So this is what I learned. And it was very instrumental.
Completely ecstatic. Your entire family are disciples of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. And His Holiness the Bhakti Vinod Swami is your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
How important is Maharaj in your family and when important decisions are made?
You're talking about my Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Jayapataka
Yes,
Swami.
well, you know, obviously there are many important decisions which we take in our life, and we do it always with a consultation or permission or knowledge of the spiritual master, because sometimes if we want to do something and it's wrong, he will tell us, okay, Ganga, I don't think you're going to accomplish anything if you go in this road, so change, you know. And so we modify our thought, we modify our action. But yeah, I feel glad that I'm married with such a great family. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law were initiated by him. Almost all the family that are initiated by His Holiness. And Bhaktivinoda Swami, we were brahmachari together, traveling in South India and preaching. He's a brilliant mind, he's super intelligent, and he's very aware of many things. So he's constantly preaching and traveling all over South India, all over the world. He goes to Dubai. So I feel very much protected to be in such a family of Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
So, and he was
amazing situation. So understand that it was in the early 80s when His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's Pranam mantra was written by Bhanu Swami. Do you know anything about this?
Well, not so much. I just asked His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj. Maybe he corrected in the end. He doesn't remember much, but he said that actually Vidwan Gauranga was the person, another my good brother who is also Pandit, and he teaches in Mayapur Institute. So he is the one who formulated the Pranam mantra of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, which explains about the glories of the Holy Name, the glories of preaching Gaura Katha. So he's always
Beautiful.
thinking about Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, the mercy of the Lord, which inundates the world. So,
last question, then I'll ask a personal question, which I would
sure,
like to know.
no problem.
Who does His Holiness Jayapataka Swami look up to? Who inspires him? I'm sure Srila Prabhupada is a big inspiration.
Srila Prabhupada is a great inspiration for him, because he was spending many time together in Mayapur, where Srila Prabhupada would sit in the Bhajan Kutir. He would give this vision about Mayapur, even though there was nothing, just rice field, and say, here will be this, there will be a planetarium where people will come and understand the cosmology of the universe. So he absorbed all this from you know, Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. And of course he always consulted with many other senior good brother, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and many other, and so he always takes advice from senior devotees or somebody on his level, and sometimes he even asks us, what do you think if we do this? So just to check, you know. So he's very much, you know, on always get the consensus of intelligence, because sometimes our mind can make us believe, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then it's gonna be a disaster, we're gonna lose our spiritual life, we blooped, or we end up in a misery. So it's always advised that whatever we want to do, we ask the other senior devotee, yeah, I want to do this, what do you think is good? You know, so then that way we are always protected. So he's always like that.
Yeah, amazing. And just one more question about His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. As you know, Jayananda Thakur is a big inspiration for me. Absolutely. And I've heard back in the day that Jayananda Thakur was one of the main forces to bring in Jayapataka Swami into ISKCON. Do you know anything about that pastime?
Yeah, I know. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami told me that personally, that when he was, I think, in San Francisco, he was walking in the street and he saw they are building something made of wood in the street, and he stopped, you know, he was looking, what is this, you know, and then Jayananda Prabhu approached him and say, hey, listen, can you help me 1 second? Just 2 minutes. He said, yes. Can you hold this nail here? He said, yes, I can hold the nail. He said, can you hammer the nail inside? He said, boom, boom. Yeah, wow, you're a master carpenter.
Yeah.
You know, we are building the chariot of God, Jagannath. Would you like to help me? And he said, yeah, what shall I do? Continue to put nail here, you know. And then he went on painting it. And he was the first person who shaved him up.
Yeah,
He
amazing.
gave him a lot of prasadam, a lot of inspiration. And so he was very instrumental in coming in contact with Krishna consciousness. Of course, we understand that he was already attracted to know the truth, and he read many books about yoga and philosophy. So he had this great desire to know more about the absolute truth. And then when he came in contact with the devotee, everything solidified. But Jayananda Prabhu was such a beautiful person. He was very inspirational for everybody, and very humble, you know, and always effulgent, we can say, you know, that anybody who come in contact with him would be so attracted and say, I want to be like this guy, you know, why you're so happy, you know, I'm not happy like that. How can I become so happy like you? And I say, you know, you just come here and be with us, you know, just take a little prasada. We have been in the chariot, and then there was another service, and so eventually he joined the temple.
Rest is history.
That's his history.
Well, thank you so much for sharing these pastimes with all of us today, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve yourself and His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. I feel very fortunate. So we'll leave it at that once again. Thank you, Ganga Prabhu. It's been an absolute honor to be in your association.
It's a great pleasure to talk to you, and you are very inspiring.
So thank you, and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for watching this interview, and chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Haribol.
Hare.